Today, London is echoing to the voice of protest. The demonstrators began gathering early this morning. A message to the politicians: the world is in trouble. More than 100 organisations will be marching through the capital with a rallying cry of jobs, justice and climate.
I think today makes a difference to the people who are on it, and it sends a message to Gordon Brown and the G20 leaders that actually have to start listening to the people.
We've had depressions, we've had recessions, it's a boom and bust cycle that we're having, and people are starting to get fed up with it.
This G20 summit has got to make a difference. We're facing the biggest crisis in our economies that we've ever seen right across the world, and all these governments now need to act together, work together to lift us out of that recession and to begin to give people hope again.
They'll be monitored by a large police presence, but today no trouble is expected.
Well, there is a lot of anger around. We're a democratic society. I think campaigning like the kind of campaigning we're going to see today, like the march that we're going to see, they're incredibly important parts of our society.
Sign the petition, bail out people, not bankers. Save jobs.
But the government and the police know sterner tests are to come, with fears of public disorder to coincide with next week's G20 summit.
I think this is the start of a long process. We're still counting the numbers as they come in, but we're hoping for tens of thousands of people that are coming here today to tell the G20 that radical change is needed. The central message today is all about fairness. We're saying that until now, it's the rich who've always been rewarded when things are going well, and poor people who've been punished when there are crises like the one that we're living through right now, and that this isn't fair. And what all the organisations, the 150 organisations that are part of the Put People First coalition want is fairness. Fairness to poor people, fairness to the climate, fairness to workers everywhere. Through history, demonstrations have achieved great things. You know, votes for women, arguably, was achieved through campaigning and demonstrations. And unless there's campaigning, the politicians, like the ones that are gathering in London on Thursday, won't know that ordinary people really care passionately about these things. I think it's important to come together in big numbers and just show the number of people that really care and really want the G20 to be brave and take the big decisions that are needed. I don't think that we're going to wake up on April the 3rd and suddenly that everything will be fine. I think this is the start of a long process, but it is what happens afterwards when the leaders all go home, which is absolutely crucial. We saw in 2005 the world's leaders came together and promised to give huge amounts of aid, and a lot of them have not kept those promises. So it's absolutely crucial that people like the people who are marching today continue to hold their leaders to account, to remind them of what they promised, and to really force them to keep the promises that we hope they're going to make on Thursday. Well, I was on the march earlier, and it was really peaceful, lovely atmosphere, singing, lots of children, lots of different groups, really colourful banners that are there. So far it's been an entirely peaceful march, and I'm sure it's going to stay that way. Well, as one demonstrator described it to me today, there is a real hodgepodge here. There are people right across the age range, babies being pushed in prams, children, teenagers, right up to many octogenarians. And people have come here from Belgium. There are Italians here, and I've even seen a banner in Spanish. And of course, people from all over the UK. I've met a father and daughter who've travelled here from Bristol, the father celebrating his 50th birthday today. And all of these people want their voices heard. They want their concerns raised about job losses, about poverty, about the financial crisis and climate change. And they're hoping that their voices will be heard and they can make a difference ahead of the G20 meeting next week.
Thank you.